Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual Executive Director Podcast. My name is Becky Caldwell, and I'm your host. I'm an executive coach for mission and purpose-driven leaders, and I serve as the actual executive director of the Virginia Highlands Festival in Abingdon, Virginia. I am taking a few weeks off from actively producing the podcast so that I can accept this gift of time and pause and reimagine what this podcast could be, what it can offer to you, our audience. So I invite you to take the same gift of pause. And if you would like to get in touch with me directly and work with me as your coach right now, feel free to email me, becky@virtualexecutivedirector.com, or reach out to me on any of the social media platforms that are linked in the show notes. And let's have an initial conversation, because so much is possible right now, even amidst all the restrictions. So you just need to take that time to accept it and even maybe seek what those gifts might be. And I can help you with that. So while I'm pausing the podcast, I'm going to rerun some of my favorites. It's not going off the air completely. Or should I say off the internet completely? I'm going to rerun some of my favorites that I think will help get you in this spirit of acceptance and exploration. So without further delay, here is the episode for this week. This week on the podcast, I get to interview my dear friend. Oh my God, it was so great, you guys. My friend, Margaret Hicks. We have known each other for 20 years now. It has been probably 17, we were figuring, years since we've actually laid eyes on each other in the same room. But Margaret came in for some workshops for our tourism industry. And these were improv-based workshops, and she has started this business called The Tour Boost, which is an extension of her tour guide business called Chicago Elevated. Okay, so a little bit about Margaret. Margaret has taken a 20-year plus career in improv comedy and translated it into a booming tour guide business. She is her own boss. She is the #1 ranked tour guide in Chicago, according to TripAdvisor. And now she has this new series of workshops so that you can elevate your own experience as a tour guide or your own skills. It's a way to just add more tools to the tool belt of being a docent or a tour guide, or really any kind of person, leader who faces the general public. We had, in this workshop, we had tourism department staff, we had box office staff from Barter Theater, we had museum staff, museum docents, we had hotel staff, we had staff from a couple of restaurants. I mean, it was a variety of people. But the one thing that they had in common, that we all had in common, was that we present our organization or our company to the general public. And so anybody who does that, which is everybody in some sense, at least probably everybody listening to this podcast, this kind of workshop can be really, really helpful.
Came from so far away. It took so long to get here.
How long was the drive?
I left the house at 7 and I got to the hotel at 7.
Okay.
So with the time change and all my stops and everything.
Yeah. Nice.
So it was fine. But and I don't drive, I don't drive. I don't have a car.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because you live in Chicago and travel a lot.
And so I own no car. So it was like, wow, I'm driving the car down the highway. was
So
fun.
have cars changed since you?
It's in
since you
some
own a car?
ways, yes. Like there are a lot more buttons and weird things. It's not just speed, you know, on your dashboard.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to like hook up the phone.
Oh,
You know, all that kind of like, where does this piece go? And where does that? A little bit.
Yeah.
So, but mostly the same. I
Wheels.
learned on a stick shift.
Oh, no way.
So I kind of
Wow.
miss that.
Yeah.
I like driving a stick shift.
Well, you can drive Brendan's car a little bit while you're here. He has a Mini, which is a stick shift.
Oh my God, it's been.
He has like not the original, but the original reboot of a Mini.
Oh, neat.
So, you know, at the 2003.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, yeah. It's,
Can you drive the stick? I like it.
It's
I
okay,
used to like it. I
yeah.
don't know if I.
Yeah, it's kind of
been a long
fun.
time.
But around here, there's so many hills. Like you get stopped on a hill.
Yeah.
And you're
Oh,
like, oh, I'm so rolling into you. Back up.
that would make me nervous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
that's
stick
the challenge.
shift. I'm good.
Just-
Cars are the same.
Yeah.
Mostly the same.
So I'm here with Margaret Hicks, and we've known each other for now 20 almost years. Almost 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we probably met each other then in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
almost 20 years.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh. We used to work together at the Chicago Humanities Festival and have so many stories. There's so many stories. Margaret, this is a podcast for nonprofits.
Yes.
Nonprofit leaders, those who love them and support them. And so tell everyone about what you do because it is pretty awesome.
I am excited. So I'm a tour guide by trade. I've been a tour guide. I started with the Chicago Architecture Foundation in 2005 and started my own business in 2010. And I am a really good tour guide. And it was the first thing I was good at. And I was like 36. You know, it was the first thing that it was like, oh, I'm better at this than most people. I've never had that experience before. And so I started my own business and things are really good. And when I start to ask myself, why though? Why are you good at this? The natural answer that came up was my 20 years of studying improv comedy in Chicago.
Wow.
And so much of what's happening in improv right now is this applied improvisation, right? Where we're taking the rules of improv and applying them to other disciplines. And it just made so much sense that the world of tour guides and docents and storytellers could use some of the lessons from improv. So I put the two together and created the Tour Boost.
Nice.
So it's like a little boost, an improv-based workshop for tour guides and docents, hospitality people, anybody who's working, you know, front-facing with other people, with the general American public.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been really great, and it's been really fun. And I'm just starting to travel all around. I did it in Nepal.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just said American public, but really any public.
Any public.
Any public.
I'm hoping
Tell me
to
about
really-
Nepal. What was that
I
like?
can't believe it was so neat. I wrote to there's a tour guide association there, and I wrote to them and said, I have this thing I'm doing, because we were going. And I said, I have this thing I'm doing. Would you be interested? And they wrote back right away, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, we would be most interested. Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And they rented a room, this crazy Nepalese room, and about 20 guides showed up, all men. And I did the workshop with them.
You did an improv workshop
Yes.
with a room full of Nepalese men.
men. And we had the best time. And certainly there were games, you know, of course, that caught on more than others.
Yeah.
And
Which ones?
the biggest one, and we'll be playing this today,
I'm so
Becky,
excited.
is just giving each other an imaginary gift and accepting and giving. And that's hard for a lot of people.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
you'll see
Yeah.
it today, like where I have to give you this gift with great. I'm so excited to give to you. You're so excited to receive it. And a lot of times when people are receiving it, they're like, oh, I don't know, or I don't know if I want that, or are you sure that's for me? And it's hard for people to accept, like, compliments.
Yeah.
We all know how hard it is to accept a compliment graciously. So
Yeah.
it's a lesson in that. And these
You're really good at
guys
that.
accepted. Thank you. Yes, I am. So they just opened up in this game, and they were laughing and doing object work, and their gifts were big and little.
Oh, wow.
And they
Oh
were
my
just, their
gosh.
faces were just wide open.
There goes my theme music.
Oh,
I forgot to mute that track.
is it an original track?
It is, yeah, written by my sister-in-law.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to. You'll have to
Yeah.
listen to it.
We'll listen to everyone, I'll just include that later.
Yes.
I am not editing that out. Real moments with
Real
Becky and
moment.
Margaret.
And then they took us on a motorcycle ride through Kathmandu afterwards. Like I got on the back of one of the tour guides' motorcycles, and it was just like all around through Kathmandu.
Was it
was
thrilling or
such a treat.
terrifying?
Both. Both. But I felt, definitely safe enough. They know what they're doing. But it was really neat. And it let me know that this kind of work is definitely can span culture, can span language. I mean, a lot of the games, I don't even have to speak your language for us to play and for us to get what's going on. And a lot of times communication has nothing to do with your words.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping to expand more internationally as well.
Cool.
That would be great.
That would be great.
Yes.
You are an international traveler.
I am.
Like that's definitely.
And I like
when
it.
I think of you, that's what I think that like that's your thing, international travel.
It's definitely one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, okay, I have to describe to everyone what's happening right now. My dog,
Seriously?
Tanner, he's under my desk, and his butt is next to me, and his face, thankfully, is next to Margaret. And so I am scratching his butt. Margaret's petting him on his head and
And he's
neck.
got like a
He's just
desk
like
over his
super
head.
happy. Yeah, he's got a whole desk over
You
himself.
really nailed it.
Yeah.
Good little guy.
He's
the
so
best. Really sweet.
Margaret said what'd you say about looking at other people's dogs?
That I look at other people's dogs like women look at other people's babies. Hi.
That's so sweet. They're
what's
about to
your
go
name?
ballistic because the UPS guy is out front.
Oh, okay.
Not for me, but we're just going to let
They
them.
both knew exactly
We're just going to
what
let
was going
them
on.
do that for a moment.
Okay. That's everybody.
All right.
Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back. And that's the end of the podcast,
Yeah.
everybody. Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming.
listening.
Good times.
The whole podcast is just listening,
Yeah.
waiting for my dogs to start barking again. Oh man. Okay, so when we left off, you had taught a class in Nepal,
Yes.
and you said that the training spans language.
Yes.
That you don't even need to speak the language to understand kind of what you're
Right.
or to play together,
Certainly.
which is something a concept that I love.
Yes. And certainly would do and will do together like body language stuff, posture stuff. The tone even of your voice tells so much, right? You know. So I like that it can be language independent too. Mm-hmm. You know, and certainly they can all play.
Yeah.
And are all getting out of it. You know, even if I have someone who can just tell me what's going on a little bit, you know, anybody can improvise with anybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes a bit of persuasion. I was kind of glad they sort of had beginner's mind about it, the Nepalese.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes Americans are a little resistant
Yeah. Because
to improv.
I think
'Cause it's scary.
it is, and they think they have to be funny.
Yeah. And they've seen some that isn't. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't want to do this.
It's embarrassing.
A lot of my job, I think, is persuasion.
Yeah.
You know, if you ask 100 people if they want to play an improv game, 100 people are going to say no.
So what do you ask instead?
Do you want to get more tips? You know, do you want to be better at your job? I've been saying lately because I've been working with a lot of museum docents and tour guides, especially. We're very independent people. We're not so much authority people. We're out there. We're on our own. These are our stories, our facts. We got them. We found them. We decide the route. We decide, like, tour guides especially are very, I think, anti-authority and very independent. We don't share a lot. We don't soundboard a lot. We're very in our own heads. And, you know, you're going to steal my information and stuff.
You're going to steal my historical facts.
So, yeah, right? The public I found it in Wikipedia. So we tend to be closed off and a little resistant. So my new thing I've been saying is I'm not trying to make you better at your job. I know you're good at your job. I know you're a good tour guide or a great museum docent. You wouldn't be here volunteering and doing it if you weren't good at it. Yeah. So it's just a different way to think about it. It's just another tool. Do you want another tool in your belt? Yeah. Yes. Right? And then there are life lessons too. Yeah. The improv lessons are just regular how to be a better person lessons.
My God. Seriously. Yeah. Okay, so talking about improv, what would you say is your kind of biggest life lesson from improv? In a really good altruistic kind way, I think empathy. In a trick of life, like a life hack, like a tool, status play. Oh, yeah. Let's dive into that for a sec. I am fascinated.
It's a hard thing to teach, but especially on tours. So in improv, we're taught a lot about how to play with status, low status and high status, how you share that with your body, and how a high status person, generally they're standing up straight and their chest is out, and, low status, more hunched over. We can all kind of figure that out. But in improv, we play a lot. Like if someone initiates a scene with high status, you have a couple choices. You can come in as low status, like the jester. Maybe you match status. Like if I come in as a queen, you come in as a matching queen. Like we're both equal high status. That's really fun.
And we have a queen off.
And a queen off. And that's a really fun dynamic. So you can match status like that. Or my favorite is if you have a queen, then you can have a low status jester, but one of those jesters who's smarter than the queen. So he's high status without her even knowing it. Right? So status gets real weird and interesting. And I use it all the time, like in my life.
Yeah. How?
Like if I have someone on a tour, and this happens a lot, who thinks they know more.
Right.
This is a classic. That's something we all have to deal with. I can easily pull a little high status. And puff up a little bit and change my face a little bit in the way that I talk to that person a little bit. Or if I don't really want to deal with that today, I can lower mine and just let you have it.
Yeah.
Right. Fine. Today you can be high status on the tour. All right. And then I can give it to him or her, but it's mostly him. So in that way, I use it in my work a lot. And then just also, it's just personal dynamics. So I think that's my biggest tool. It's like learning how to manage status.
Okay. I love it.
Here's my theory. You ready for my big theory?
I am so ready for your big theory.
Here's my big theory. That if Survivor had ever had a true experienced improviser on, they'd win.
Oh, yes.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
That the improviser...
Okay, Oakley's getting in on this now.
Oh, you're so sweet. That the improviser would win. Yeah. Mostly because they know how to deflate situation, how to inflate situations.
Yeah.
They know how to lessen your anger. They know how to get in your head. And they can play status.
So an improviser would be like an evil genius. I mean...
Secretly, and you'd never know it because it'd just be the guy making you laugh or the woman making you laugh. And the improviser the whole time would secretly be playing status with you. And so I would really like to see a truly funny person on Survivor because they'd win.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt.
Oh, my God.
I think it should be me, by the way. Jeff Probst.
Okay. Margaret Hicks is available for...
I would like to be on Survivor.
The next... Is that still on?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
I think it's like 36 seasons.
Wow. That is insane. I'm on season 3 of my own of the podcast. So
Your own survivor.
I've got 33 more to go.
I've been on here and I won this. So now we know.
Right. Exactly. I've won my own podcast.
I get angry that improv works sometimes.
Yeah? Do
Yeah,
people use it for ill?
No, just kind of annoyed that it actually works. Shoot. Damn it.
People are so predictable.
It works. You know,
Yeah.
and it's great. But when you get annoyed with it or frustrated with it, it's like, oh, shoot, just keep going. It works.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about applied improv. What is that sort of, what's the definition of that? How can people use that
in their own lives? Yeah. So there's a big concept in improv, yes and, which I'm sure a lot of people, especially in nonprofit communities, have heard of, but it's starting to really creep into the mainstream, right? And Second City people and improv people are making money by going around and teaching people basically how to yes and each other. And the concept of yes and is that we're not denying each other. So you accept the full reality that you're in and do what you can to add something to that reality.
And not change the reality, just add something to it.
And they've been talking a lot about lately radical acceptance. Oh. Which is, kind of very Buddhist. And one of my favorite improv tropes is being the scene you're in, not the scene you want to be in. Damn, right? Like that is the life. That's all the Buddha was saying.
That is everything.
That is everything.
Oh my gosh.
Suffering comes from trying to make something different than it is.
Yep.
That is the main point of Buddhism. Yeah. And it's the main point of improv, and it applies to tour guiding. Be on the tour you're on, not the tour you wish you were on.
That is such a major life lesson.
It really is. So even trying to, and yes, and is how you can do that in your own life. You accept the reality and then try to add to it. So one of the great Second City examples of this is Joan Rivers. That she was in a scene with Del Close, and Del Close comes out and starts a scene and says, honey, the kids are being too loud. And Joan Rivers says, what are you talking about? We don't have any kids. Right? Which is just
such a shitty thing.
It's such a mean thing to do.
That was so mean. They must have been having a real life fight or something.
Apparently Del walked off the stage, right? He didn't. He just left her standing there. Like he didn't even respond to her. Right? It's just so as humans, right? We don't want to do that to each other.
Yeah.
And certainly on a tour or behind a front desk or taking someone to a museum at a restaurant. You need to, if somebody asks on tours, we consider tour guides. If someone asks a question in the middle, a lot of times we'll get frustrated by that. Right? Like I was telling my story and you interrupted and the idea is oh yeah, what a great question. Yes. And here's the answer. Here's how we'll find the answer here. And then you've accepted that person and made them real and seen them in the face. And listening to someone I have a friend who worked at Disney, and people would ask her when the 3 p.m. parade started. Right? And she's like, what? And
around here we would say, bless your heart.
Bless her heart. Oh, I might take that.
Yeah. That's yours. You can have it.
So it's about listening to each other and accepting each other and accepting the situation. And tours go wrong all the time. Things go bad all the time. It's the middle of the city. Anything can happen at any moment. And what are you going to do with it?
Yeah. So, okay, you're in the middle of your story and someone interrupts you with a question. What's the first thing that goes through your head as someone who is better at this than you were, say, 10 years ago? Yay? Okay.
Because that's also the thing that's going to change my tour. So it's not like the one that I gave yesterday. It's not going to be like the one tomorrow. His question could change the whole day.
Yeah.
So how do
you get from being annoyed to yay?
Yes, and. It is, though. And I think what yes and does is that when I said like empathy, right, that improv teaches you empathy. Yes and teaches you to listen to the other person, which teaches you to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Right. So I think little trainings, trying to make more eye contact with people, which is so hard. It sucks. We all hate eye contact. Everybody hates it.
Super
but
uncomfortable.
Whenever I'm
I stare at you.
Yeah, I know. We're really good at it right now,
We
by
are
the way. Me
so
and Becky have it right now. I have to
holding eye contact. Yeah.
When I'm losing a group, when I feel like I'm losing a group, there's one immediate fix. Look them in the eye. It's so fast. It's just an immediate fix. It's so easy. And then if they're bored and having a horrible time, it's a bit of a challenge to them.
Yeah. Oh.
Right, and they'll get re-engaged.
Yeah.
And it's status, right? Like
I can look at
I'm
you.
good, I got it. Right, so confidence, that kind of thing. So little even body language, physical tricks are another way to yes and. It doesn't, again, always have to be with words.
Yeah.
If you find yourself talking to a guest of any sort and you're standing with your arms crossed and your shoulders hunched, maybe open your body up, literally.
Yeah.
Open your arms and your
Unfold.
eyes. And so there's all kinds of ways, little tips and tricks. It's just to remember the tips and tricks in the moment. I think is the hard part.
Where practice comes in.
Yeah,
And it becomes
exactly.
second nature.
Exactly.
So, okay, Margaret is teaching 2 workshops while she's here in Abingdon, and they're called the Tour Boost.
Yeah.
And it's the same workshop 2 different times. I always have to specify that because people are like, do I have to come both times?
Oh.
No.
No.
You can come just the one time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can come both times if you,
You
want,
can.
but because then it's more practice.
Yeah.
But what can we expect today? What's going to happen? I'm so excited.
So
and you guys, I
excited.
will do like a post workshop breakdown for you too.
Oh, fun.
But, yeah. So
Fun.
what can
So I figured today that we've got people from all kinds of, it's not tour guides. It's a bunch of people. We got hotel and restaurant, right? A bunch, more
People from Barter
hospitality
Theater.
from the theater. So my thought is how to connect quickly.
Okay.
How first impression, kind of that kind of stuff, and then how to. As one volunteer coordinator I've been working with, he said, I'm always trying to keep the ball from being dropped as far as like conversation. So,
Yes.
Where are you from? What are you doing here? Oh, my mother lived there. Oh, like continuing conversation instead of, oh, you came from Chicago. That's nice.
Right.
Go to work on your thing. Like, how do you keep the ball in the air? So I thought that's kind of what we would work on today. So we are going to play some give and take games. What it feels like to when you're giving to somebody and when you're taking back from somebody, like a conversation, when to listen, when to speak, and how to feel that out. One thing that's neat about improv is it's very physical, like physical sensation. So what it feels like in your body when you are giving attention to somebody else and what it feels like you're in your body when you're taking it. So when you go out at the front desk, you kind of, I get nervous when I'm giving, that's that little stomach thing. No worries, you push forward. So we're going to play some give and take games, and we're going to play some listening games. Active listening, so that I don't just ask you, where you're from, and then I stop listening.
Yeah.
And so, oh, good, okay, good for you. But that you can keep that ball in the air.
Yeah.
And definitely we're not really playing any specific yes and, but we are playing your idea gets incorporated into my idea. Your idea is going to be incorporated. So lots of kind of give and take. And then in the second half, after the break, it's real like Susan messing lovey-dovey. Like just creating good feeling between people. And how do you do it? How do you engender that? What does it feel like? And what do you have to overcome in your own system to be good and kind to other people?
Oh my God. I could start crying right now. First of all, shout out to Susan Messing. Love you.
Love you, Susan Messing.
And there's that's so needed. I mean, Okay, so where I live has been very divided over the past few years between the people in power and the people who are perceived to not be in power. And it's a small town, a town of like 8,000 people. And so when someone gets a little power, they get
It's a lot of power.
Yeah, it's a lot of influence, and you're a big fish in a small pond. And so I'm excited to see how this might ripple out through the community later, because in a town this size, with it being so small, and I mean, there are 40 people who are going to go through this training total.
So
We've got, I think, maybe even a little bit more than 20 in each session.
Great.
And these are visible people in the community who
are going to be in front of each other and doing something that's embarrassing and scary. Not embarrassing. It's never embarrassing, but they think it's going to be embarrassing.
Yes, exactly.
And scary. And
I feel nervous right now. I'm just sitting here thinking.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the persuasion part. But then what we both know is that as soon as you start, you're so excited and nervous for the other people that you're very much willing to give them all of your gratitude and great. Like, you want to clap, they want to clap for each other, and you want to be really and support each other. It's just a really natural thing because you're so scared that you look to the other person for solace, and they're there. They're totally there for your solace, and there to support you, and they're scared too. And then you play the game, and then you laugh with each other, and you laugh with the other people, and it's just the nicest thing.
It is.
It's hard for it to not work. I've discovered. There's only a certain couple of people that won't allow it, to work on themselves. And it's really apparent when the person's like, no. Right. I'm not gonna.
Okay. So how do you handle that? Like, we all
let them.
Okay.
I let them.
Just let them not have it.
Well, the chances that the rest of that watching even if you don't like me, right, or you don't want to improvise, the chances that you can watch the rest of the group and still be cynical after watching them try and pour out their hearts and be hilarious and sweet. And we're going to play a game this afternoon, Becky, where we literally just give compliments to each other for 30 seconds. Like, if you can walk away from that game with your arms crossed and your head down mad, I can't help you.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm beyond it. So I will just usually let that person sit in that space as long as they can. But usually they can't sit there very long. The rest of the group sways them.
Yeah. Positive peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's part of that radical acceptance
acceptance.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We all have boards that are like that. There's always like that one person who's just gotta.
Yeah. Right, boards.
Like boards.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, right. Oh my God, I've got boards. And they'd never do it. They'd never go to the improv thing. But probably boards are who could use it the most.
Right?
Yeah.
I am planning on swiping some of today and tomorrow for my board orientation. Because I think that'll be helpful. We've played in board orientation, we play the You, Yes, You game.
What's that one?
Where you just, it's circled up and you look at somebody and say you, and they say it's giving and a taking, right?
Yeah.
So you, yes. And then you look at you, yes.
You.
And
I see.
Back and forth, And then we also play loser ball.
Loser ball. I love
Shout out to Jill Bernard.
Jill Bernard.
And then what else have we done? Those are really the main ones that I remember to do with them.
Loser ball's really fun. People are so funny just from being funny.
Exactly.
Just from being themselves.
Yeah, just don't catch it.
Yeah.
I feel how that feels.
I read one. Okay. I haven't tried this one. I read it was good for a big group. You gave everybody a piece of paper, and they have to rip the piece of paper apart in the shape of a giraffe. And nobody can do it, and everyone's it's just how useless. What a failure we all are, how useless tasks are.
Yes, I love talking about failure as a thing. Failure is just another thing you experience And we all like failure is not an option. It's inevitable.
Inevitable if you're trying anything. If you're trying anything. I read one of those like Silicon Valley guys who said a failure is us successfully figuring out what went wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a total success.
Yeah,
Actually.
that is actually when you look at it like that.
Total success of figuring out what didn't work.
Yeah. And
it's beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think when we can look at it, it helps when we can look at failure as an object as opposed to a person.
Oh, that's a good.
And so absolutely. It's like what went wrong, not who went wrong.
Yeah. Ooh.
We've been dealing with that. I've been dealing with that a lot lately. It's because the festival that I run just ended and we've been in evaluation mode.
A much better question.
Yeah.
Because it's still, even if it felt like a person dropped the ball, the process somehow got dropped.
Exactly.
Where did we lose the process here?
Why was it ever possible for them to drop the ball?
Yes. What was the weak link?
Yeah. Where did we as a community fail that person?
Yeah.
And what was the process that failed that person?
Yeah.
The person's not a failure. The person's a person and they're wonderful.
Everybody's doing the best they can.
Yeah.
If they're volunteering and helping with the festival, everyone's trying. So,
yeah.
Oh, what a much better question to ask. That's great. Yeah, I love that.
So,
yeah.
What went wrong, not who went wrong.
Yeah.
That's been like a little mantra in my head.
I like that mantra. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
I love things that just have that easy shift. And I think improv does that too. Yes, and is so much easier than no, but.
Oh my gosh.
What went wrong over who did wrong. It's just that tiny little shift and everything changes. I love those.
I do too. I love what's about to happen this afternoon.
Me too. I'm so excited.
I am too. I've been so pumped about this. I'm so excited. So it is, I have to shout out really quick the sponsors of this event, which are the Abingdon Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yay.
They were the first to jump on. They were the tourism director here in Abingdon is a visionary, and she has built such a solid team.
How cool.
And she comes from a sort of an arts background too.
Nice.
And fundraising and coalition building. And I mean,
great.
She's just on it. And we've felt a shift in the last year with the town, where, remember how I said that things were really divided?
Yeah.
Over the past year, something has shifted, and she and I have been trying to put our fingers on it, that people are at least in the tourism part, which is a significant part of our revenue for this area.
Yeah.
That they are more accepting now of each other, of training opportunities, of
continuing
learning.
ed stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
You don't always know everything. And even if you
Any
do, why not just
thing.
come and play?
Right. What if you take away one thing that makes it better? One thing today.
Yeah.
And then the other secret benefit of this is they're all going to meet and know each other now. Mm-hmm. Whoever doesn't know each other today, they're going to make 19 new friends today.
Exactly.
No matter what happens.
And we will see each other because it's a small town.
Right. Exactly.
You're going to run into them.
That's to the team building, even just that.
Town-wide team building. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time.
Yeah. We'll get the whole town. 8,000 people.
Yeah.
Show up at
we could do
it's done. Margaret Hicks.
Becky, you are awesome.
I can't believe
I'm here. This is so great.
I can't either. So long. Brendan was asking me how long it's been since we've seen each other. I'm like, I don't know. Too long.
Definitely. I mean, really.
Yeah.
18 years, probably 17 years.
Oh my God.
Since we actually even saw each other.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You look good.
You look good too.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
We are doing well.
We're doing good.
And now so are you. How can people find you? Because I know they're going to want to find you now.
Sure. So I'm at thetourboost.com.
Okay.
And my tours are chicagoelevated.com. So you can go to either one of those and they link to everything. And you can find me Instagram and Twitter and all those things.
Awesome.
Yay. Thanks, Becky.
Thanks, Margaret.
Yay.
All right, Becky Caldwell back here solo. I did promise a recap of the workshop, and here it is. Each workshop was 2.5 hours long. We had a 15-minute break in roughly the middle of it. And even though these were improv games and we did play together, it was not scary. Well, maybe it was scary for some people, but we were all doing things together. It wasn't really like any one person was put on the spot. So it is a very inclusive thing. There were a couple of people who were like, no, I'm not feeling it right now. And Margaret did not make a big deal out of that. In fact, I think she kind of just ignored it. Like if people didn't want to jump in with the group and stand in a circle, like a lot of games start out, then she just let them stand outside the circle and it was no big deal. At the end of each game, so after each game was played, Margaret did something really wonderful. And she asked everybody, okay, what did we just do here? What did we learn? How does this apply to your everyday work? And so we immediately drew the connection between the game that we just played and how that information now applies to what we can do every day. I love that. I mean, every single game. She didn't wait until the end of the workshop to try and sum it all up. So along the way, we were able to apply it and see how this game would apply to our own lives. I even applied some of it to my board meeting a couple nights later. So here's what happened. Margaret taught us in the workshop to as you're transitioning from place to place or from one subject matter to the other, to just check in with your body and see what your body language is throwing off, what you might be communicating unknowingly. And so sitting in my board meeting, we were going from one agenda item to the next, and I found myself sitting there just like hunched over, and I had looked at my computer for a long time at that point. And so I was like, oh man, this doesn't feel good. So I took a deep breath and I pulled my string up and sat myself up straighter and threw my shoulders back and started looking people in the eye, because I didn't want to feel that hunched over, closed off, blah, blah, negative, pessimistic thing. I wanted to present myself more optimistically and more positively. And so I did that. And the timing to do that was in between subjects on the agenda. So that's my tip for you right now, that if you are in a long meeting or you are giving a tour to somebody, to just check in with yourself, with your body in between things when you're in transition, and change it if you're not happy with what you're doing. Everyone, thank you again for listening to the podcast. Remember to rate and review and share it with a friend, because when you do this, that expands our audience and helps more people, especially on Apple Podcasts. That's where I seem to get most of my traffic. So if you leave a review, then they will start to show this podcast to other people who are looking for this kind of information on purpose-driven leadership, mission-driven leadership, maybe even applied improv training and comedy, how to bring more comedy into your life. All of these things are so important to all of us because, remember, like I like to say, we shine brighter together.